Is the Miami Grand Prix worthy of Formula One? Hey, and welcome to F1 Trackside. After the first ever Miami Grand Prix took place during the first week in May, there's a wide variety of opinions going around regarding the event. While some people love it, others don't think all the excitement and hype from the preview was really worth it. However, let's take a closer look at what the drivers thought about the Miami Grand Prix. The first thing worth mentioning is that, in spite of this being a Formula One weekend, giving points away as any other race, it was definitely not the average F1 event we're used to. I know what you're all thinking. Yes, it had an FP1, FP2, and FP3, and then of course there was a qualifying session prior to the race. The thing is, from a fan experience point of view, this was probably the best ever Formula One event. From the fake marina to the artificial beach and pools just meters away from the cars lapping the track, and all the celebrities coming in and out of the paddock. From a spectacle point of view, it was a gorgeous event. However, this isn't what we're here to talk about, as eventually what makes a Formula One weekend great is the quality of racing we get. And this time, one must say it wasn't top-notch. Just as the fans, drivers also had a lot of mixed feelings for the Miami International Autodrome. While most of them thought it was cool to drive, there was still a lot of comments suggesting that the track might not meet F1 racing standards. Judging it was not ideal for racing. For those of you who watched the free practice sessions on Friday, this could easily be seen with the number of spins and crashes. Something was definitely not right with the surface of the track. One of the drivers to talk about this was Lando Norris, the McLaren driver. In spite of having a terrible weekend on which he wasn't even able to finish the race due to an accident with AlphaTauri's Pierre Gasly, he was one of the drivers who criticized the surface of the track. He mentioned that not only was it very tricky to drive and understand, but also to keep control of the car due to the lack of gripping outside. It's very bumpy in some places, which we weren't expecting, said Lando in one of the interviews he gave during the weekend. Everyone was expecting it to be smooth and beautiful, but it's not. This comment also refers to all the hype that was built around the Miami Grand Prix, which in the end did not meet supportive expectations, neither from drivers nor from fans. Norris also described the track as very punishing, as there was very little margin for error due to the dirty surface outside of the racing line, which eventually caused drivers to lose control of their cars. Moreover, he somehow predicted the outcome of the race, saying that the track was restricting, as not many different maneuvers in relation to the cars in the front could be done, as the surface would punish those actions. He was basically expecting a pretty dull race. Sergio Perez made similar comments as the McLaren driver after spinning a few times in FP2. By that time, he stated that the lack of grip outside of the racing line, which seemed like a gravel surface, would not make up for a lot of passing opportunities throughout the race, which we must admit we eventually got. George Russell also quoted the tarmac as awful, as it made very difficult to control the car, just as his fellow mate Lando Norris said. The Mercedes driver almost crashed while entering the pit lane, but despite the issue with the track surface, he was able to provide some quality racing against his teammate Lewis Hamilton. The seven-time world champion, Lewis Hamilton, was one of the drivers who actually enjoyed the track and focused more on the positive aspects of the weekend. After having expressed his love for Miami in multiple occasions in the past, the Mercedes driver was definitely one of the most excited about the idea of racing in the Sunshine State. He said that the track was really nice to drive except for the chicane. He suggested that the track could be improved in the following years by removing that part. Sebastian Vettel, the experienced Aston Martin driver, was not very happy with the outcome of the Miami Grand Prix. Loyal to his style, Vettel said that he would prefer to race in some of America's classic permanent circuits rather than the Miami street track. He mentioned Road America, a circuit where Indy car races, located in Wisconsin, as one of the layouts he would love to try. Furthermore, he thinks that for the money that the Miami GP costs, Formula One could have easily gone and raised the standard at some other classic track, which would have been more interesting for drivers. He would love to race in more popular tracks. What Seb did acknowledge, though, is the fact that the atmosphere at the event was something special, though he found it difficult to judge, as the last time he was in an F1 stand as a fan was in 2001. Valtteri Bottas was one who seemed to understand the track pretty well. Not only did he have a very solid weekend in Alfa Romeo, but the Finnish driver also stated prior to the race that the long straights would provide plenty of overtaking opportunities. The Flying Finn thought the track was challenging and found the twisty section at the back of the track from turn 12 to 15 the most difficult part to get right. Apparently, it wasn't only him who had struggles at the end of Sector 2, as there were two very big crashes at turn 13, one on Friday and the other one on Saturday's FP3, which eventually led to Esteban Ocon missing on the qualifying session due to the cracked chassis in his Alpine. Carlos Sainz was the first one to have a big shunt at the corner on Friday and clearly stated that the second gear crash shouldn't have been that bad. Crashing against the concrete wall not only caused his mechanics at Ferrari to fix his car overnight, but also had him with neck pain for the remaining of the weekend. After his accident, Spanish driver suggested to race director Niels Wittich that Protec barriers should be installed in that spot, but this was unfortunately denied. After crashing the day after, the French driver Esteban Ocon found this unacceptable, leaving the car with pain on his knee. He described this accident as the biggest shunt of his career, measured in 51 Gs. When it comes to a sport like Formula 1, safety is the single most important factor. So after such an incident, the FIA should have listened to the driver of the caliber of Carlos Sainz and do something to improve safety. However, they felt that being turn 13 a low-speed corner, it shouldn't have brought any problems, and what's more unacceptable, they said that installing Tech Pro barriers in the middle of a Grand Prix was not a practical thing to do. Unfortunately, this caused the Alpine driver to miss the qualifying before going on to make a really good comeback from the back of the grid on Sunday. Nevertheless, this could have been easily avoided. The FIA said they'll evaluate this for future editions of the Grand Prix. So, as things have shown, there are a lot of opinions about the first ever Miami Grand Prix event. What's for sure is that there are a few things that need to be evaluated so as to make future editions not only more enjoyable for drivers, but most importantly, safer. Now, we want to hear from you. Did you find the race enjoyable? What are your thoughts on the Miami International Autodrome? Do you think it's worthy of Formula 1? How long do you think it'll remain in F1? Let us know in the comments below. Take care.